This is your girl, Kimberly Harris. Welcome to the Bitter Greens podcast. Guys, we've actually covered some good stuff this year already, and we are just in February. We talked about resolutions. We talked about owning our own space. We talked about deviation is not devastation. And then we also discussed clearing the clutter. And if you follow me on social media, you know one of the things that I'm doing this week in terms of clearing the clutter is a juice cleanse. I usually do terribly on juice cleanses. My skin is popping at the end, right? But usually I'm hungry, I'm angry, and all of my friends typically tend to lose weight, and my weight loss would be like 2 pounds, and then I gain it back as soon as I start eating. But I will tell you that I am on day 3. I had already started to eat clean. You know, I've started the pescatarian diet, have been on that for more than a year. My first 2 days, I wasn't struggling at all. I was a little concerned because I have been drinking coffee more than I usually drink. I've been good. Last night, I was bouncing off the walls. I had so much energy. Today, I woke up with energy, and now I'm a little feeling like I'm crashing a bit, but I still overall feel well, and I never felt hungry. And so shout out to Kepra, is a raw food and wellness restaurant, and I believe this is the same guy who does yoga. A couple of years ago, we did a trap yoga for my birthday. He does other ones as well, so I think they're part of the group. But anyway, his juice has been much better than any other cleanses that I've tried in the past. Like, I just could not stomach some of the rest of them, or it just wasn't enjoyable. So doing well on my clearing the clutter as it relates to detoxing. And this is a physical challenge, but it's also a mental challenge because, like I said, I'm not hungry, but this is, can you stick with it? And I do that a lot. Like, how much mental discipline do you have, and can you commit? And so that is really where I am with it. I'm hanging in here. I'm doing good. And I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that I challenged myself in these ways, and it just spills over to other areas of my life. So if I can commit to something like this, I can do the same, whether it's in my business, whether it's in my finances. And that brings me to February. I am coining February to be Financial Freedom February. And this is a part of clearing out the clutter. If you think about it, when your finances are not in order, we tend to have mental stress, we tend to have emotional stress, and then our physical space, depending on what your situation is. Where do you live? How are you living? Are you happy living there? What is the environment? When we don't have our ducks in a row as it relates to our finances, we tend to have stress in areas that spill over into other areas, and we're not living our best lives. So this is going to be a series, unless something fall into my spirit, y'all, because you know how it happens. And I need to do another episode because I just got to tell y'all this thing that came to me. But the goal would be to have 3 to 4 sessions about financial freedom. And this doesn't mean that you have to have it all together. No one always has it all together, or they didn't start off having it all together. I do want to say that I'm not a financial expert. I will be doing research. I listen to Ramsey a lot, Chris Hogan, Suzie, Orman, Dora Harris, who is an internal resource, financial resource for our family, and some other things. I'll be pulling information to share from various areas, but I want to make sure that we are not biting off more than we can chew, because I really want you to do some homework, do some action steps in between each week. We won't talk about more than 3 topics each episode. I also want to tell you that I'm not going to be giving you advice. I don't want you to tell anybody that Kim told you to do this and now this happened. That is not what's happening here. These are merely things that I want you to consider. And if the shoe fits, have an action to it so that we can get into a space that we deserve. And then the other part, when you talk about finances, and I don't know about you guys, but at one point in my life, you know, just thinking about some financial habits, I remember being younger, needing gas, like having no money. Like, I need, 12:01 Friday to hit, or I don't know what's going to happen in terms of my bank account. But the gas pumps allowed you to do $1. Like, they would clear your card for like $1, but you can get a full tank of gas. Man, let me tell you, I don't know how many times that bailed me out, but I also never want to be in that place again. The other part, when I was thinking about habits, and I still do this, and this is not a bad thing if you're living within your means, but I remember growing up on Payday Friday, we were going out to eat somewhere. And most of the time back then, it was like Bonanza, and that was the best trip on Friday. Okay. If y'all know what Bonanza is, it's basically a buffet, like a Old Country, or remember Ponderosa? I'm telling my age, but I ain't really Ponderosa old, but I know about it and I've been there. So just thinking about some of your financial habits and what of those financial habits don't suit you or don't fit your situation, and what do you need to make adjustments on so that you can be in a different space. So these episodes will be either whether you're at the starting point and setting the foundation so that you can have financial freedom, or you're well on your way and you have been rocking it out with your bank account, you have investments, etc. But we all have areas where we have room to grow, where we can tighten up, or we can explore some options that we didn't think that were attainable for us. Like, what? I never thought that I could have X number of stocks in this particular business. And so it is really also pushing past some of the barriers that some of us have experienced as it related to finances. Some folks are opening their own businesses and doing things where we know, unfortunately, and it is Black History Month, although we celebrate all throughout the year, there has been some historical roadblocks and boundaries that were intentionally set up for us. And so really breaking through those ceilings and being very honest about where we stand. The first thing I want you guys to consider, and we already started to talk about this, but what is your relationship with money? How do you view money? What are your habits as it relates to money? Do you have any generational things that may influence how you spend money? I just want you to dig deep and think about, actually, I want you to write a list of your positive behaviors as it relates to money and your negative behaviors as it relates to money, and celebrate the things that you do very well. And then circle one or two things that you could improve on as it relates to your habits. And these don't have to be major mountain moving things that you have to address. It could be, I'm going to reduce the number of times I eat out in a month. Or instead of splurging on that jacket or that couch I want to buy, I set up a short-term savings plan so that I can save incrementally and not devastate my bank account by splurging. The second thing I like you to consider doing is assessing your mess. Sometimes when financial burdens become overwhelming, we sweep them under the rug. The bad news is that no matter how long or how much you've swept under the rug, it's still there and it's going to be waiting for you to resolve. And unfortunately, it could be damaging your credit in the process. The good news is that it can be fixed. Sometimes we have this cloud following us that's unnecessary because it really wasn't as big as we thought it was, or it was manageable to a place that we can set up a plan to get out of it. And so that might mean calling a creditor to get an extension. That may be setting up a payment plan. If you can afford it and you do have a mess, consider getting a financial advisor to assist. And they also have local programs in your state, and sometimes they're free. My recommendation there is, if you go the free route or even paying for a financial advisor, you do your research so you're not hiring or involving someone in your finances and they make your mess messier. So the good news here is that you can get out of it and there's a plan, and then you'll be on your way. The bad news is that if you keep it under the rug, it's going to stay there. When you're assessing your mess and you're doing fine, there isn't any mess there, congratulate yourself. Celebrate yourself in terms of having a high credit score, paying your bills on time. It's nothing like seeing on your credit report where you've been exceptional in the things that you've been paying for, and the amount of credit that you have available is more than what you've used. So definitely in this assessment, it's not about, I said, assessing the mess, but it could be assessing so that you don't have mess and you're well aware of where you stand. That is critical. And this is really why step 1 and 2 and 3 are very critical, because it's really about you not being in the dark in terms of your finances, being able to make a plan if we made some mistakes in the past, and being able to maintain and continue your plan if you're on the right track. So we talked about analyzing our beliefs about money, assessing our mess, and then the third piece is tracking your spending. For the next week, I'd like you to keep a tally of what you spend. So basically your receipts, keep your receipts. If you do any online spending, I want you to write it down and add it up and see where your money is going. Are you spending it on necessities? Is it entertainment? Is it eating out? Are you on Amazon buying things that you don't need? And we know the difference between a necessity and that new nail polish that's available on Amazon. So really assess how it is that you're spending money. And I don't want you to beat yourself up. I just want you to be mindful of where your money is going. So once we analyze our beliefs about money, where do we have things that we need to adjust? What do we need to fix? And it is really like a coming to Jesus. Let me see if there's anything I need to fix, or am I on the right track? And if I am, how do I stay here, and what strategies do I need to implement? And are there other things that I can do to put myself in a better place? Is it time for me to look at investing, or how I can save $100 more a month over what I'm already saving? And then that third piece is having the ability to know and see everything that I'm saying to you guys, I'll be doing myself, especially me tracking my spending. I'm not going to be surprised. I know where I can trim the fat, but I'm going to write it down and make it plain. So let's get to clearing the clutter from my finances. Thank you guys for joining me this week. If you like the podcast, please follow me on Spotify. You can also subscribe on iTunes. I am also on Instagram at bittergreens1. So if you like quotes and want to drop comments about the episodes, you can meet me there. I look forward to talking with you guys next week. Now go win the day. Don't let the day win you.